What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the after credit scene. We're talking all things Daredevil Season 2, Episode 4. Before we get into all the juicy stuff, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, share this thing all across the multiverse. To me, this was one of the best episodes I've seen thus far, especially between Daredevil Born Again Season 1 and Season 2. The intro with Bullseye, Wilson Bethune playing that character is fantastic, right down to the swagger that he has as he walks, the way that he talks, the interactions that he has, coupled with the fight scenes, makes him seem so unhinged. He's just a really well done character, really well written, and well acted as well. It really makes for great tension. The fights between him and Daredevil are fantastic. I thought the interactions and the thread of this episode running all the way through, following Bullseye's perspective, was really great. I think the world building they've done and some of the plot points and the ways that Karen and Daredevil are trying to make all of these things work together and connect with trying to take down Fisk, I think was done really well and woven really well in this episode, and it really built some tension. The fight with Fisk, the boxing match at the end, having it at Fogwell's, obviously done on purpose in terms of not just storyline, but Fisk as the kingpin trying to do different things and push buttons and stuff like that. I thought was really well done. And honestly, just from a viewer standpoint, I'm glad they didn't hover on it for too long. They used it as a scene in terms of a setting, but they didn't really try to treat it like some bigger moment. I mean, I was worried that most of the episode would be on it, and it would be some more like, there's a lot of boxing scenes in it, but really putting that at the end and giving a lot of the exposition about that Kingpin's really doing this to draw people out. He's, that it's also under the guise of a fundraiser, all those different things. I thought was really great, and you got to see the politics and the cat and mouse behind it, more so than just, oh, there's just this thing Fisk is doing and it's some kind of goofy, way to show that the mayor, to show Kingpin fighting or something to appease viewers or something crazy like that. I liked that it actually had some meat and some depth to it, because when I saw the shots in the trailer leading up to the season, I thought this might be a little cheesy, this might be a little weird, and it really wasn't. It actually fit in really well, and the fallout from it and the way it all happened, Daredevil and Bullseye kind of fighting there at the end, the fallout from that we'll get to here at the end of our video, but just liked the setup, and I liked the flow of the whole episode. The tension there is really building between all of these characters. The two things I really want to talk about, one is the fallout from Daredevil rescuing all these people from Red Hook, the conversations between Daredevil and Swordsman. If you caught that, at one point, Jack Duquesne says, hey, I gave Karen an account number, and whatever you need, it's at your discretion. So now Daredevil has some funding, which is really nice. It's going to probably make for some very interesting moments, see how he uses that. But then Duquesne having this conversation with him where he says, look, you're no longer just a fighter or a vigilante, you're a symbol. I really thought just the idea of that in the conversation really elevated Daredevil as a character, and probably did a whole lot of heavy lifting in terms of plot points and direction moving forward in the MCU. I really liked the way that they did that and building this into something bigger. Having all these characters interacting and hiding out, and it really feels like they're building some kind of undercurrent, in addition to involving the lawyers, and trying to do this in a very legal way, which honestly, if past precedent is any indication, it's going to blow up. It's not going to work well, and Matt's going to have this situation where he feels like Daredevil has to go and get justice for himself. I really loved that they added in some elements of his religious upbringing. They really shied away from that in the first season, and I really like that, Matt uses it goes into the church, and they utilized his faith, not just he's following up a lead, but sitting down, praying, all those kind of things I thought was really, really cool. In addition to that, at the end, the fallout, obviously Bullseye shows up to take out either Fisk or Vanessa, and the fight interaction earlier on between Bullseye and Daredevil, where Bullseye says, "One good deed. I gotta do one good deed." I thought was really interesting. Still seems very unhinged. You know, Bullseye's kind of fooling himself. He's not actually on Daredevil's side. Their interests are just aligned. But even then, I think Murdoch would say, no, our interests are not aligned. I don't want you to kill them. I want you to bring them to justice. But Bullseye feels wronged because these people that cared about him and that he cared about, or that he thought cared about him, have turned on him and used him to do things that he didn't agree with. And so getting back to right in his own mind, and thinking that Daredevil would agree with that was a very interesting conversation and battle, and I think kept them from just going at each other until one of them died. And then the interaction at Fogwell's, I thought was really great, and making it so that it wasn't just Bullseye that tried to kill them, but Fisk stepping in and breaking the statuette that gets thrown at them, and the piece of glass getting stuck in Vanessa's neck. I think it's going to be interesting to see how not only Fisk is definitely going to twist this and say, look, these vigilantes have killed my wife, and it's going to garner citywide support and all these kind of things, but it's also going to have this undercurrent of, on the surface, it's Kingpin saying, I'm going to get these guys, look what they did, but it's really just a red herring for the fact that underneath all of it, Fisk is going to blame himself as well, and he's going to be even angrier, and he's going to be even more feral, and how these things turn out. I think it was a really cool choice to do it that way, and to really up the stakes. I really love how much they're doing in terms of the writing to kind of see, okay, what's the next big thing? How can we make this thing more of a powder keg and more volatile? And so those things I thought were really well done, and I'm interested to see where they go from there when it all starts blowing up. Still think we're going to see a lot more cameos other than just Jessica Jones. I think there's other characters that they're weaving in a really good way. I think all the interactions with Bullseye and Daredevil are top notch, and I can't wait to see what they do with Bullseye, not just in this season, but moving forward into season 3. I think is going to be really, really awesome, because he is not a character that you're going to get rid of, and he's not a character that you should get rid of. Even in the comics, the storylines and the unhinged nature of that character are just fantastic, and I would urge all of you to go and look that up and find those things. In terms of moving forward with these characters, in terms of moving forward with what's going to happen, like I said, I think the law aspect is probably not going to pan out as well as they hoped it would pan out. I think the interaction between Mr. Charles and Kingpin, where Charles is a little more braggadocious than he should be, and Kingpin kind of puts him in his place, was really well done, and you kind of see where he's taking control of the situation. The interaction between Vanessa and the governor of New York, some more power plays there that I think are going to be very interesting, especially in light of probably maybe Vanessa's death. But if not her death, maybe this is also some kind of connection to finding out a little more about what may or may not have happened to Foggy. I really think the conversation that gets had with Bullseye and Daredevil, where he says that Vanessa was the one that orchestrated it. Vanessa was the one that got him out, and her price to get him out was to kill Foggy Nelson. She's trying to clean up things for Fisk. And it's even more confirmation that in season 1 early on, she was pulling some strings and trying to help her husband out. But it really follows a storyline where Foggy's not dead. And I really think that the writers pointing that out may be something that they pursue, and I'm really hoping they do pursue, will be an interesting take on it. And I think another way they could get to that is by Fisk discovering that there's a way to save Vanessa, that Vanessa knew about that he didn't, and maybe that's, or in the course of her dying, he finds out about all her other dealings, and one of them is that Foggy Nelson's still alive and how does Fisk use that as leverage. A really interesting storyline there, a lot more development and a lot more explosive content and tension that's still just building towards the last 4 episodes here. And so really curious what you guys think about it. Really looking forward to watching the rest of the series, but I want to know what you guys think. Add that in the comments, like the channel, hit the button, subscribe, do all the things, and then check out our other content. We've always got a lot of other things you can sink your teeth into. And as always, guys, when the next one drops, we'll catch you right back here. Later.